how young some of the volunteers were when they died. Welcome back to the channel, guys.
And welcome to all the new people.
Yes, to the new people.
So today is going to be a little bit different in the sense of this is something that has caused so much pain, agony, and just general. It's essentially what we're going to be talking about is the troubles that are in the north.
Yeah, it's been written in history, and we've just come back from a little walking tour of the Falls Road. For those who don't know, back during the Troubles, in the 1960s, 1970s, right up until
The 2000s, basically, until now, yeah.
There was two roads in Belfast, the Falls Road and the Shankill Road, and they were very conflicting because the Falls Road was the nationalists, the Catholics, and the Shankill Road was the Protestants and the Unionists. And there was a lot of trouble. In 1969, there was actually a wall built between the two.
1970 it was built. Barriers
went up in 1969, and they built a wall in 1970.
It's the entrance to the Shankill Road.
To divide the two streets, you know, it was the upcoming of like the IRA, and obviously the IRA was around a long time, but like, you know, the IRA were fighting for freedom, for United Ireland. And because of the conflicting troubles, then the British Army were then,
the RUC came in as well.
They were then placed on the Falls Road to try to keep the peace, but obviously that didn't work because it made obviously the nationalists here on the Falls Road kind of feel like they were being oppressed. So yeah, here today there's a lot of murals around the streets of the Falls Road that kind of give us a bit of an insight into what things were like back during the Troubles.
80 to 90 official IRA volunteers. Provisional IRA was 11 volunteers, and that's 3,000 soldiers.
Wow. That's crazy, isn't it?
The result was IRA weapons captured, 4 civilians killed, 337 people arrested, curfew broken by neighbourhood restraints. Casualties: 4 civilians killed by British Army, 60 civilians injured, 18 British soldiers shot/injured.
Wow.
A lot of murals declaring that certain people had been murdered by the British state, and I'm sure again because it's still quite raw and quite fresh today, we're not going to go up to the Shankill Road. Even though there's not like as much conflict today, it's still a place where, you know, my dad said to me before I left the house, he said, you know what roads you don't go on now when you're up in Belfast. Like, it's still Shankill Road being one of them. You don't, as a unionist, you don't want to be on the Falls Road. As a nationalist, you don't want to be on the Shankill Road. And if we were on the Shankill Road and they saw a southern reg, regardless of whether we were unionist or not, they'd see in a southern reg, they would immediately assume nationalist. Yeah. So it is still there is still the conflict there, but obviously not to the extent as it was 30-40 years ago. So, but some of the murals were breathtaking. Yeah, it's kind of you learn about all this in history in school and stuff, but you don't, so you actually see the murals, it makes you realise that this was real, this happened right here. It was mad. I think the most breathtaking one was the Bobby Sands. There's a mural, and it's famous worldwide. It's a mural of Bobby Sands. He was a hunger striker. He was arrested, and he hunger striked for 66 days before he died to fight for Irish freedom. There was so much about him though as well. He wasn't just like a volunteer for the IRA. He was a poet. He was a politician. He was so much he done to try and further the Irish cause and try and keep United Ireland, try and keep the language going. Yeah. So it was 66 days he was on hunger strike before he died. 66 days. Imagine that. Like, it is quite, like, there's signs that say like spray painted, like Join Sarah, which are they're kind of like a hate organisation, but they fight for freedom.
The freedom of.
That's probably why they're declared as a hate organisation.
Yeah, and then there was also, who was it? Sean McDermott. We were on the street that he actually, before the 1916 Rising, spoke on to the people of Belfast.
And for anybody who's listening to this that doesn't understand what we're actually talking about, do a bit of research. It's going to take you a long time to go through all of it, because there's 900 years of history there for it.
So basically what it is, in a nutshell, is that obviously Ireland was taken over hundreds of years ago by the British, and when Ireland was given back to the British, they kept the 6 counties of Northern Ireland, so they're still part of the United Kingdom. And there are still a lot of people up here in the north who
don't want that.
They want a united Ireland. They want the 6 counties to be declared as part of the Republic of Ireland rather than
the United
Kingdom. So that's kind of where the troubles kind of stemmed from. The nationalists, the Catholics, they didn't want to be declared as British. They wanted to be declared as Irish. But then, like, through the Good Friday Agreement and stuff like that in 1998, there was a lot of people now when they're born here in Northern Ireland, they can declare themselves as Irish. They can get an Irish passport.
They have a choice of Irish only, British only, or both.
So that's obviously a big step, but at the same time, there's still a lot of people who don't want Northern Ireland to be declared as part of the United Kingdom. So yeah, that was just a little mini video for you guys. They do tours, like there's black taxi tours, that they'll bring you to all like all the mural points. Yeah. And
there's the conflicting stories one then.
Yeah. So you get brought around by a nationalist and by a unionist, so you can kind of get both sides of the story, if that makes sense. There's actually a black taxi driver, black cab driver. Are they called black cabs? Or black taxis?
Black cab, I think.
There was a driver of one of the tours. I was taking a photo of Lee at the Bobby Sands mural, and he was like, "Oh, I'll get a photo of the 2 of yous." And he gave Lee back his phone, and he "Chuck your law," which means in Irish, "Our day will come," direct translation, but again, it is associated with the IRA and the Troubles, so yeah, it was quite funny.
It's something that you wouldn't have said 50 yards up the road.
No, God, no.
Where the Shankill Road is.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just a tiny little bit of history of up here in Belfast, Northern Ireland, for you guys.
But there's so much more that you need to look into.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you did want to know about the history of Ireland, just do some research. Yeah. So,
there's a lot more there than people realise.
So now we are going to start the camera prayer again and go to our next destination on our Northern Ireland road trip. So we're looking forward to that. Let's go.
So as always, like, subscribe, and the ding bell.
Bells. And we will see you
in the next one.
Peace.